They say WWE is richer and bigger than ever, but the magic, it's gone. The crowds don't pop like before. The stories feel empty. Every match now looks like a business deal. That's the real horror. A world where your childhood heroes become just another ad. And fans, they feel betrayed, left in a ring that no longer feels alive. Once, WWE was everything. On TV, it was raw, bold, shocking. The Attitude Era pulled people in. Guys like Stone Cold, The Rock, Mankind made you believe. It was edgy, it was dangerous, and it was real in a way nothing else was. Now look around. Everything's safe. PG clean. It looks like kids' TV, not the show that once made us feel alive. Some say that's smart business. Fine with the sponsors, sure, but something died when the risk died. And then, becoming a public company in 1999 changed everything again. When WWE sold stock, the mission shifted. Shareholders wanted no surprises, no risks, only steady growth. So stories flattened. Characters stopped growing. Everything became predictable. Risk is not something shareholders like. Everything is so constrained, it sucks the life out of the business. The future of wrestling is AEW and other promotions, when this giant eventually collapses. That's how deep the pain runs. That's not fantasy talk. That's anger, fear. People who truly love wrestling saying the soul is gone. But the numbers complicate things. WWE still makes money. Profits grow. But WrestleMania ticket sales? They're weak. In Las Vegas, they're only selling 50,000 when the stadium holds over 71,000. The fans are not showing up. Some blame the cost. WrestleMania packages cost thousands. The cheapest starts at $128. Top seats can go for $15,000. When fans feel like just ATMs, magic disappears. On top of that, stories don't land like before. WrestleMania 41 ended with Cena winning the title. Fans wanted drama. Instead, they got more of the same. No Rock, no real push. Behind the scenes, creative fights between The Rock and Triple H derailed the story. Without unity, stories fall apart. WrestleMania 41 also pulled Bayley out last minute. No injury, just weak planning. Fans saw how a big star was wasted, again, all because the creative path changes like the wind. And this isn't one time. Many feel the storytelling is broken. Worse, there's too much interference, too much chaos repeated over and over. Even matches feel staged. Take a dive. A wrestler moves slow, the other waits, breaks the illusion. Fans are not fooled anymore. The WrestleMania they remember, crisp, fast, exciting, it's gone. And the problems go back decades. When Vince McMahon bought out WCW, WWE lost competition. Without a rival, it got lazy. The Monday Night Wars, the fire that forced greatness, ended. Instead, emerged bland expansion, dull storytelling, a hollow empire. Today, fans say WWE feels like an advertisement company, not wrestling. The Bloodline stories, Judgment Day, overbooked chaos, all of it strains. The formula is worn. Worst of all, scandal. Vince McMahon's ousting in 2024 did more than remove a boss, it removed the myth, the legend. His career was stained with scandal, sexual abuse, wrongful acts, weird storylines. The company lost trust. Stories lost credibility. When you grew up watching WWE, you'd feel the roar in your chest. Now, there's just noise. When fans say WWE lost its soul, they don't just mean format or money. They mean heart, the risk, the rebellion, the unexpected. Right now, WWE has profits, but it's lost connection. The creators behind the scenes are torn. Stories don't matter, the fans don't believe. And WWE, in chasing gains, forgot why we fell in love. The loudest sound in the arena is not the crowd. It's that tiny pause right after a finish with outside help when the bell rings and you hear people groan. That groan is the sound of broken trust. And once trust is cracked, the magic leaks out. Today, we're going to talk about why some fans feel WWE lost its magic. Not because wrestling is fake, not because we outgrew it, but because the show changed, the world changed, the business changed, and the heart got left behind. When fans say magic, they mean that old feeling. Goosebumps, surprise, a story that made sense, a hero who felt real. Magic is when we cheer because we care, not just because the lights are bright. It's not a fancy word, it's just that deep feeling in your chest. This matters. We're going to dig into 6 big reasons the magic slipped. 1. Real-life corporate changes. 2. TV and streaming deals that changed the show. 3. Creative habits that wore fans down. 4. Production choices that pulled us out of the moment. 5. The PG shift and tone whiplash. 6. The gap between record business and fan emotion. At the end, we'll talk about the way back. In 2023, WWE and UFC were merged by Endeavor into a new company called TKO Group Holdings. That made WWE part of a giant sports entertainment machine with big goals, big partners, and big pressure. Soon after, in January 2024, Vince McMahon resigned from TKO after a new lawsuit was filed. He denied the allegations, but he stepped down from TKO and the board. This was huge. For decades, he was the face behind the curtain. Overnight, he wasn't there. These events didn't just change headlines, they changed how WWE works. When you become part of a public, merged company, the product serves many masters. Stock price, partners, ad buyers, streaming platforms. That doesn't have to kill magic, but it can bend it. In January 2024, WWE and Netflix announced a giant deal. Monday Night Raw would move to Netflix in 2025. Reports pegged it at more than $5 billion over 10 years with options. This is historic. It changes how millions watch weekly wrestling. WWE itself said Netflix would be the new home for Raw in the US, Canada, UK, and Latin America, and would also carry lots of WWE content outside the US, including big live events where rights allow. This expands reach. It also raises stakes. When you're on the world's biggest streamer, you want safe, steady growth and predictable hits. At the same time, SmackDown moved back to the USA Network in October 2024 under a 5-year deal with NBC Universal. NXT moved to broadcast TV on the CW in October 2024. These moves protected money and visibility, but TV partners also shape what you see on screen. So the question, when huge partners want stable ratings every single week, do you take fewer risks? Do you run back the same finish? Do you stretch a story longer than it should go? That's where fans start to feel it. WrestleMania 39 in 2023 gave us a moment many thought would be the ending. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Cody lost. The choice sparked months of debate. Some loved the long game. Others felt deflated. It became a symbol of not now, maybe later. A year later, at WrestleMania 40 in April 2024, Cody did finish the story. He beat Roman Reigns on Night 2. Night 1 had a mega tag match with The Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. The weekend was massive, historic, and emotional. Many fans cried happy tears. Magic was back. For a night. So why do people still say the magic is gone? Because one great payoff doesn't fix deeper habits. Fans love the peak, but they remember the weeks in between. The replays, the stalling, the distractions, the sameness. The move from one peak to another can feel like a long, flat road. Let's talk about finishes. Fans want clean wins and clear losses sometimes, not every week, but enough to believe. When they watch a big TV main event end in a DQ, a run-in, or a dusty finish, too often they feel tricked. We can point to years of threads where fans say, "Please, not another DQ." These are opinions, but they're loud and common. Fans also talk about sameness, rematches, formula promos, the champion who barely wrestles on TV, or the next challenger who shows up because it's their turn, not because the story earned it. That's the stuff that eats away at magic. Not all at once, but drip by drip. And when a story gets hot, the fear is that it gets stretched too long or padded with weekly distractions, so the final win lands softer than it should. You might still cheer, but deep down you feel tired. For years, fans begged WWE to slow the cuts. The rapid camera zooms and shaky shots pulled people out of the action. It made moves feel less real, like the camera was a character. In late 2023/early 2024, longtime production chief Kevin Dunn left WWE. New leadership came in, and some viewers felt the show began to breathe more. But habits don't vanish overnight. Fans have discussed this for years. Production matters. One wide shot that lets a moment live can make a star. One unnecessary crash zoom can kill the pop. When the camera fights the crowd usually loses. Back in 2008, WWE shifted to TV PG. That opened doors to sponsors and families. It was a smart business move, but it also changed the tone. You can still tell serious stories under PG. The problem is not the rating alone. It's the whiplash. 1 week edgy, next week silly. 1 hour deadly serious, next hour comedy that breaks the spell. When tone darts around, fans don't know how to feel. That hurts the magic. Today, with streaming partners and global brands, tone will always be a push-pull. But the best stories pick a lane and stay honest in it. Here's the twist. WWE is a money machine right now. New rights deals, big gates, huge merch, strong international growth. On paper, it's a golden age for the business side. That's not opinion, it's in the releases and filings. So why the sadness from some fans? Because money is not the same as magic. A sellout can still feel empty if the finish feels cheap. A record PLE can still leave you cold if the story got dragged out. Magic is not a KPI. Magic is trust, and you can't buy it, you earn it. TV and streaming change how stories are told. You need cliffhangers before ad breaks. You need moments that clip well for social. You need stars that casual viewers recognize even if they wrestle once a month. None of this is evil, it's just the job. But when the entire show is built for moments, not matches, you feel it. The crowd gets hot, then cut to commercial. The babyface builds steam, then a run-in sets up next week. The title reign needs records, so challengers cycle through without true arcs. Ratings hold, clips travel, but the spell breaks bit by bit. If you comb through fan comments for years, you see the same requests. Clean finishes more often, especially in big TV main events. Fewer camera cuts. Let big moves and crowd reactions breathe. Stories with clear stakes and consistent tone. Payoffs that come on time, not months after the crowd peaks. Real consequences for wins and losses. Space for wrestlers to talk like people, not memorize scripts. Let the live crowd guide you. If a star is catching fire, ride it. None of this requires blood or adult content. It requires craft and courage. The Bloodline saga was the best and worst lesson. Best because it showed WWE can tell layered, human stories that pull huge numbers and deep emotions. Worst because the bar is so high that everything else looks thin next to it. When fans say lost its magic, they're not saying do Bloodline again. They're saying care that much again. Care about the mid-card. Care about the women's division. Care about tag teams. Care about endings and beginnings, not just the next sponsor segment. After Vince left TKO in January 2024, Paul Triple H Levesque remained the creative leader as Chief Content Officer. Many fans credit him with a stronger focus on wrestling and long-term plans. That's on WWE's own site. But even good leadership lives inside a machine. Partners, deals, and expectations. The path forward needs choices that protect both business and magic. Here is a plain roadmap. Finish the match. Let more TV main events end clean. It rebuilds trust. Pick a tone and stick to it. If a feud is serious, don't undercut it with skits in the next segment. Cameras that listen. Fewer cuts. Wider shots when the moment is big. Fans have wanted this for a long time. Pay off on time. Don't stretch the rubber band until it snaps. Protect the belts. Wins and losses should clearly matter. Make rankings or contender logic easy to follow, even if it's simple. Let wrestlers breathe on the mic. When people talk like people, we believe them. Use the Netflix stage to take real swings. The platform is huge. Use it to try bold arcs that feel honest, not just safe. Make the mid-card magical again. The show is more than one story. Every hour should have a can't-miss thread. Wrestling is strange and beautiful. It's theater, sport, soap opera, circus, and community. The magic was never just in tables and ladders. It was in people, in the way a crowd sings a theme song, or a kid hugs their hero, or a city becomes part of the character. The truth is simple. WWE didn't lose magic like a lost phone. It wore it down with small choices, safe finishes, overcut shots, tone whiplash, and the slow, careful grip of mega deals. The good news? Small choices can fix it too. Give us clean endings when it counts. Let stories land when they're hot. Let the camera sit still and catch the tears. Let the crowd finish the sentence. Do that week by week and you'll hear it again. Not just the bell, not just the pyro, but the gasp, the roar, the chant that starts with one voice and becomes a wave. That sound is the magic. It never died. It's waiting. If you're a fan who still cares, you are not negative. You're honest. If you work on the show, you are not the villain. You are the chef in a busy kitchen. We just want the food to taste like the picture. Tell me in the comments, what moment made you fall in love with WWE? What finish broke your trust? What one change would bring your magic back? I'm listening. We're all listening. Thanks for watching.